Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Under Pressure podcast. How are you doing? I've missed you all. I have not podcasted for a long time. As you can see, we've won a big game, so Gags is back. That's what everyone's saying. So yeah, I'm back, the Glory Hunter. To be honest, we're recording very early normally, so that's what made my time to get on. I'm joined by three of the regulars. First and foremost, the most, what do you call him, Darth? He's the most, celebrated? No.
Most qualified.
Most qualified person on this podcast.
Yes.
He is Mr. Phil Barter. How are you doing, Phil?
I'm not bad, mate. Much better mood after two decent wins.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's something new for us.
Yeah, this season, definitely.
We're also joined by Mr. Collector, Dan Rhodes. Rhodesy, how you doing?
Good to see you back. 2 wins, 8 goals, a clean sheet.
Oh my God, absolutely. 1 goal conceded, 8 goals scored. That's something. That is something. Basic stats from me on Under Pressure. And
the Napoli game.
Oh my God, yeah, we're a long way away from that. To be honest, Arsenal feels like so close. The games are so sandwiched at the moment. Arsenal's just we got over that real quick. Which is thankful. But we're also joined by Darth. How you doing?
I'm all right, Gags. I'm all right.
Bit panicked, bit rushed, but you're here.
Yes. I don't like being unprepared. Yes, but good job that you're hosting. That's all I can say.
It's good. You're gonna just relax. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll all be good. So we're gonna look at Rangers really quickly, guys. I know it's a big 7-1, but it was Rangers, so we're gonna try and fly through it. Barts, let's have a look at some of those lineups. Anything that you noticed? Anything different from what you expected, maybe?
Well, we know they came to us and played a 3-4-3 for this one at the home, not the home leg, but you know what I mean, the game at their place. They changed to a 4 at the back with 2 sitters and a 3 and a 1. So not too similar going forward, but they put an extra 4 in. Leon King, dropping out. I think he was injured in the first game, so he dropped out. Midfield changed to a 3. Lundstrom was the only one keeping his place, and he was joined by Connor and Artfield, who eventually scored one of the goals. And then Saka and Kolos came in for Morelos and Tielemans in the other 2 wide players, and Ryan Kent keeping his position. So a change in system. They're at home. I think they probably adapted in terms of, rather than going 3-on-3 as they thought, or 3-on-4, they put a 4 in against our 4, was probably some of the reason behind it. And then they had more of a, whereas they gambled first leg with an experimental midfield, should we say, or a different shape. I think they went with 2 sitters to try and soak up the pressure. So they had 6 basically behind the ball against us in this game, which was different to the first leg. Other than that, very much the same pattern of play. They just had more bodies behind the ball.
And
Liverpool, it's just not my size bit, isn't it? But I would say from the Arsenal, this was before Arsenal? Lost me track of train of thought on the fixtures now.
No, after.
So Henderson kept his place. Elliott came in. We had Nunes, Bobby and Carvalho playing in the sort of the 3, if you like, or Elliott was in there as well, and Fab and Hendo in front of a back 4 of Gomez, Kanate, Van Dijk and Costa. So a rotated side with the front, but the back being consistent as best we can. We've got injuries, as we know, so Trent couldn't play. Matic was out, so they've gone fairly strong at the back. Robbo wasn't quite back to start for this one. And the midfield, I think we didn't start Thiago, so he dropped out from Arsenal, and then went with Fabio, who came on against Arsenal, and that seems to be the three that are rotating in there. But yeah, otherwise, I think the giving Fab and Elliott proved to be a masterstroke in the scheme of things, because it's got them blooded with some minutes.
Nice. Okay, Rhodesy, the match summary, please.
Yeah, we'll keep it brief, even though it was so many goals.
Well, whatever you need to do for it, that's fine.
Distribution of goals as well, but 2.5 non-penalty XG in the end to 0.8. 20 shots to 7. 20 is just above our average this season of 18. 14 shots in the box to 4. Pretty much a domination, yeah? 9 shots on target to 2. And thankfully, for what feels like the first time in a while, we had significantly more big chances than our opponent. 5-2 in this one. And the XG models were a little bit different. 538 had us at 2.8. Stats bomb only at 2.1. But yeah, whatever it was, there was a lot of low XG shots going in this one. I was getting worried as they was going in, thinking, save some of these, please, for the City game. But there was still, some of the finishes were sublime. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, we were due though, weren't we? Because like that keeper the week before, Darth, had a blinder. Like, we had better chances at Anfield, and he saves everything. And then we go over there, and literally those chances. I mean, that's why when you said 2.5 XG, I made a face, because that's not very much for 7 goals. It's like, what the hell?
No.
You know what I mean?
5 big chances.
5 big chances, though. I mean, bloody hell. Still, did we score all of those? Darth, you're on mute. Did we score all of those?
No, 4. I think we missed 1.
Oh, that's not too bad. Good conversion rate then.
Yeah.
One thing that was closer to 7 was the post shot XG, which was over 5. So it tells you that although the XG itself was fairly low, the post shot XG was good, because we were finding good locations in the goal with a shooting. So, but again, that's the kind of thing that you might be worried about ordinarily. You don't want to use up all your really brilliant finishes and you're picking the corners, all in one game.
Yeah.
Anything else, Darth, in terms of what you took from this game?
I think the main thing for me was the real change of shape. Still, we stuck to it 4-4-2, and I think this is the clearest version of the 4-4-2 that we've played in the 4 games, because there's no question, Elliott and Carvalho played a very traditional left-right midfield role, and I think we've talked all season long about the Elliott role. What is the Elliott role, and what are we trying to do with these funky tactics and the rotations and stuff like that? And I don't think any of us were convinced in any match, not even for just one game. I don't think any of us were convinced by what we were trying to do and think, yeah, that looked really good. It looked the outputs for the team overall was really good, and it was worth tweaking with Salah. It was worth tweaking with Trent just to see what was going on. But I think in these 2 games, I think the Elliott role has become crystal clear in my mind, at least. And it's an old-fashioned right midfield, chalk on the boots, get up and down the touchline, support the fullback. And I think he was.
But very good quality in playing the ball forward. He's not one that's
I'm not right-footed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's he can cut in like Mo and try and take a shot if need be.
Yes.
And obviously that role would develop for him, because he's really early in his stage, of coming into this team. Still, no matter what we say, he's not played over 15, 20 games yet, has he? For Liverpool. So slowly, if he can develop in that right wing role, that right-sided role, and it supports Trent, it supports Gomez, like we'll talk about in the next game even more. But this one, Darth, it was more of the same, wasn't it? Concede first, look shite in the first half. Like right now, we're having a problem playing 90 minutes football.
Yeah, we are.
And it's always, even the City game when we get to later, it's 2 different 45 minutes, very different 45 minutes, and we'll discuss that when we get there. But this one again, I didn't watch this game, but I followed it online and I followed it. I got complaints from people in Discord telling me that the first half was an absolute shit show in there. That literally
it was poor. It was really poor. I mean, well, why? I mean, this is the point where, guys, where I would normally ask Barts or say why was it poor? What did you see particularly, Barts, that wasn't working in the build up?
I thought it was a lot of the things that we put right for City. It's really hard to talk about it, but it's, yes, the system was in, but we spoke about how long it took us to get to the box, our ponderous passing, our moving around. It's still taken us a long time to move that ball around, and there wasn't, when it was going forward, it wasn't being held up. I mean, I will look up the table in a minute on the receiving rates for our forwards, but they weren't great in the first half. They were not receiving, particularly Darwin, in that central role. When you're away from home and they're attacking, you really have to hold on to that ball more than a 30% chance that he currently averages for us. So we has to do that, and that wasn't how it was coming back into the areas. Their goal was probably quite a symptom of that breakdown in some of the communications that we spoke about last game. It's sort of, we try a couple of aimless balls into Darwin, which don't stick. They win it, come back. We win a header, but it drops. And then the double pivot don't clear it up. They work it, quick switches in, and Armfield's in acres of space because everyone's got pulled over. Strikes it straight through and has a shot. It all comes from...
Our luck, though. Great finish.
It was a great finish, yeah, but it's still...
from there as well. It's like, what the hell?
It's a real symptom. It was a symptom of the fact that we weren't able to get any foothold up front. That's a real classic L score, but if you're playing up front...
it wasn't a massive chance we conceded. That wasn't a massive chance. But
they were in a couple other times. They were in a few other times.
I didn't see, but I just looking at the way they scored the goal, I just thought, well, that's just a really shit goal to concede. But he's fucking finished it well. Fair play to him, you know what I mean? Yeah. Rhodesy, what were your thoughts on that first half before we go to a Mo masterclass second half? Well, we have to mention Bobby Firmino as well quickly because he's been superb.
Interestingly, I thought in terms of the pressing, I thought the efficiency split was probably slightly better towards the first half. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't checked that, but it was 90% efficiency overall, and it feels like it was more accurate in the first. And then as the game got a bit more stretched, once we took the lead in Rangers with opening up a little bit more to give us a chance to pull them apart like we did. I thought overall off the ball in particular, it was 152 presses from that, and we had dominated possession. We had five shots down that it led to a shot, 0.83 XG.
Wow.
So that's the productivity we wanted back. Now, most of that did come in the second half, but I thought, like I said, the first half was a bit more structured, a bit more patient. With like Dan was saying, Elliott and Carvalho in a more traditional right and left side of the field role, and they were just holding back a bit more. We were holding back a bit more.
Yeah,
and they did get through us once. I think one of the failed presses was that.
Yeah, the solo pressing now, wasn't it? Right,
it was.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, to be honest, when you change to a new system, it's going to be a lot of solos now because they're not ready with the triggers. They're not ready as a team in terms of they've not practiced this. You can tell. They've literally not practiced it. And with the 4-3-3, the reason why Klopp loves it is that the way we press, we know exactly what those triggers are. And obviously lately, Fab's not been himself either in terms of following up further up the pitch and pressing high. He doesn't do it. Maybe that's something, Darth, you pick up on for the future. Pick up on Fab, have a look at his pressing, where it is, because if you compare years and now we can do that in Tableau, I really feel like you'll see a shift going backwards for Fab. And whether that's something that's done because of the management and stuff, or if that's just Fab himself, I don't know. That's something that they're gonna have to answer. But it's something I see. It's just a different game. And if he was pressing higher, maybe if Keita's with him as well, and we notice it a bit more, those two are literally press demons together as well. And so we don't have those players. I think Thiago presses well. Not sure he's one of those that presses in coordination. If that makes sense. Not sure yet. I'm just not. So, but yeah, I just think there's a big difference in the way we're playing. So I think this solo stuff is probably going to continue for a few more months, guys, until we got the World Cup in the middle. So it'll all crash again.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing is, okay, it's 4 games, not enough for definite trend yet, but there are some similarities in the pressing across all 4 games, including the City game, which we'll come on to, is that the volume is reasonable still. The efficiency has improved, but the locations and the nature of the press is very different. So we are seeing far more in our defensive third than we've done before, far more in our middle third, and very little in terms of a high press. Now, the other things we measure on the what's called the pressing dashboard, which is the one with all the metrics and indicators which show low, normal, and high. And I just put that in the pressure chart. Is that we look at the percentage of our pressing in groups and percentage in a chain. Now, there is a difference here between the two things. So a group can just simply be hunting in packs. In a group of 2, 3, 4, press somebody simultaneously and quite often win the ball. Whereas the pressing chain is more of something we introduced, is a more sophisticated version of groups, because it's more indicative of waves. And because Gags always used to tell us about how we'd see the first wave of press, and if they beat the second, then there'd be the second wave, and sometimes even a third wave. So just remind you what pressing chain is. There was a press within 30 meters and 2 seconds of the previous press. So that can be any direction, but usually when there's more than one press in close, then it becomes a chain. And what we're seeing in the 4 matches with the change of shape, we're seeing a massive drop-off in the amount of pressing that we do in chains, and also the amount of pressing that we do in groups. So this tells me that we are, the focus is on staying in shape, and therefore we don't get multiple players coming out of shape to all press an opponent. If it's going to be if somebody's going to come out of shape, it's just going to be one person in one part of the shape, at the left mid.
The biggest thing I've noticed is what you just said there is the high press is gone. Now, if the high press is gone, it's because they're worried about the in between.
Yeah.
So they're worried about any midfielders trying to follow them, but then being completely out of position, because none of them know what that trigger is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like it's all lost. And that's really weird for us, because that's a big disconnection, and that's never happened for us before. So that's probably why you see there's so many issues going on. So literally, I think the best thing is to start afresh. Honestly, I do. Yeah. If it means our collection needs to go back and the pressing takes time to get back to what it was, then so be it. That means Nunes has got to learn. All the players have got to learn. I'm looking forward to actually Carvalho coming in now.
I was going to say, I think Darth's spot on there. I think it's also a change. It's more of a containing, I think, at times. And as Darth pointed out, for certainly the game we'll come on to, we were targeting the half spaces, which is something we don't, normally it's a player we go and target and we do certain positions. This last 2 games seems to be we targeted certain areas, and you saw it a lot in the next game, where as soon as it got into the defensive half third, we were like swarming around in a group to try and stop it going into zone 14 in the box. So that seems to be a lot of a change, but it's all about us being compact. We haven't got the physical capability to play our old 4-3-3, so therefore we need to make sure we're not compact, we don't get broke upon. And the only time we haven't done that is we conceded. Arsenal first goal, we didn't do that. We got conceded on. The breakaway chance from a corner, we can argue about it, but you know what I mean? These are instances where we haven't stayed compact and we've got beat and we've got scored goals. When we have stayed compact, second half at Rangers, City first half, I think we've looked a lot better. And a lot more able to compete with a lower physical capacity of our midfield.
Didn't Bobby put a shift in against Rangers, Dan?
He did. He did. But in both games,
City weren't far off either.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and find trying to find Rangers. Bobby's numbers for Rangers now. Just give me a second.
42.
Was it 42? Was it?
I know you said, yeah.
That's mental.
Adjusted 51.
Yeah. But what was the interesting thing was in the Rangers game was Bobby pulled over to the right and he was
48.
Yeah, he was pressing Ben Davis, John Lundstrom. What was the name? What was the Barisic, Bodo Barisic, the left back as well. He just pulled over into that right zone, and I think this is something where in both these games we're seeing a big bias in our pressing down the right hand side. Which I think obviously, we didn't plan on Trent getting injured, but I think this will continue when Trent is back. Maybe force teams, Barts, what do you reckon? Force teams to attack more against Robbo and Virgil, and Thiago where we're more comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you've got
we need less players to defend in those zones, don't we? Against them.
Exactly. Yeah. So it seems set up to do that. It seems weird, but like the tweak that we all hated was an on-ball tweak.
Yeah.
Right. This seems an off-ball tweak on our right side, which should hopefully allow Trent to do his thing from right back. But Trent's not as far forward in the new system, remember. He's only coming into about just over halfway. It's cost us the left back that goes up to create the width on the left because we tuck in the left forward into the
Rob will continue that against City.
And Robbo
as well.
can continue to do that, which is also why I think, as we'll come on to, Jota dropped back and a lot of his pressing was deeper to support and allow that cover for Robbo. Whereas on the right, the plan isn't for the fullback to go on as much. It's to stay there and just operate from just over the halfway line. But we'll see going forward.
I think that'll suit Trent, though. I honestly
I agree. I think it will.
I was so sick of seeing him running into that centre forward channel. I'm just like, no one's going to cover you, mate. And Pep, it's not his fault, obviously. Pep, Klopp, whoever's deciding this nonsense shit. Come on, man. It doesn't work. It's so unlikely that he's going to get the ball there because, one, our passing's been so bad in the final third. And you're just opening yourself up to shit. And then all of a sudden, the first thing the opposition does, ping it right into that. Exactly. It's so easy. It's so obvious. If anybody, can just pick it up in Discord, anyone, without being an analyst, anything, then that means there's something fundamentally wrong with your tactic, lads. It doesn't. You don't have to go out of the box so much that your fullback Rhodesy is going up front. It was nice. It was like, whoa, this is interesting, but very quickly, it got boring.
It did because we kept getting exposed down that side and they kept getting big chances against us. So that's why it becomes frustrating. And we weren't even getting anything out of his productivity when he was going forward.
No, it's just waste of his talent. Yeah. Rhodesy, go to Firmino here. We're going to move to just to quickly go through the goals here because we got 7 and we need to get to City, which is the main event. So, Bobby, who created for him off the corner? Because literally all I've seen is the goals.
Costas
created.
In swinger, one hand, front zone.
It was good though, Gags, because he muscled off, because Rangers are just meant to be a team of meatheads, aren't they, and grops?
Yeah.
But he out-muscled the defender and just literally pushed him away and free-headed him into it's the easiest headed goal from a corner you'll ever see.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, it was just so simple off the replay. I was like, what?
Just a credit to Baby Fab as well, who picks the ball up and hits a really good shot that goes for the corner initially. He then does it again later on in the sequence of goals. It just seems Baby Fab's able to dribble for a bit, hit a shot, we get something off it. I mean, this time we scored off the resultant quarter. It's just good play from Baby Fab.
Baby Fab, what a name! I love it.
What a name, yeah.
What is second goal then, Rhodes? You take us through the second goal if you remember it.
I don't, mate.
You don't.
It was really nice. It was a really nice cutback and finish, though.
And I did the pressing for this one.
Yeah, no, it was. But it was a
long
really
time ago now. It feels.
Yeah, and a really nice cutback and finish. But the third one, Gags, we have to talk about
Nunes.
Just the assist. This is.
Oh my God!
This is. I mean, Bobby's done. This might be his best ever assist.
No. The Mo one's the best one where he backheels it to him.
Yeah. And the little flick up. Yeah, that's the best. But this is still
very good.
But this was a Ravona back heel.
It was
weird one, but it was so nice. And then it's like perfect.
Yeah.
For Nunes, who literally, I don't know, did he miss-hit this one as well?
No, you saw he swept it in the corner.
He just passed it in the corner.
Yeah. Nice finish. That's what he needed as well. So it was great to see him score.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with him was that in the first half, the service to him and the way we don't know how to play the balls to him yet. We're trying to play through balls to him, and the through balls we attempted were just garbage in the first half.
Yeah, he's also, he's new in the side. He's trying to make an impression. He's got an ego. He's a number 9. He's trying to get a shot off at every instance, and he's still not quite in that. Actually, if I play it there, they'll play it back in there, and I'll get a better chance. He's not quite there yet. It'll come. And the thing of this goal that loved it was the fact that he didn't do that. He just waited, and we gave him the ball in the right area, and he finished. It's like
he's definitely got tunnel vision, hasn't he?
Yeah. It's very. I mean, we'll come on the City game. It's someone else, but yeah. Third goal.
Sometimes not very good, but
Third goal. That was filthy.
And then it was a Mo hat trick next.
Is this from pressing the first one?
Yeah, there was 4 goals from Preston in this match.
Jesus. Yeah, you just said at the start. Amazing. Well, that gets the numbers up for the year at least.
I know Lord of the Rings is back in vogue at the moment, Gags, with Rings of Power and stuff like that. But this was the real Return of the King.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And we talk about, dethroned House of the Dragons here as well, Game of Thrones, and literally there's a battle for the throne in the Premier League. And this is, and in football, to be honest, and Mo trying to take his throne back. He's got to play the games, and he's got to play him in this position, Darth, I think.
100%. We were saying, oh, bring him back and put him in the 10. Maybe play the 10 behind. We know that's definitely an option for future games as well. But play him in the 9. God's sake, yeah. I mean, 4-4-1, 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1. Yeah, it just absolutely suits him down to the ground.
I'd love it with a 10 as well. I don't mind playing him in either the 9 or the 10. It'll be because his creative skills are off the charts, and him linking up with someone in 1-2.
Bobby won't be able to play every game, so then just play Nunes with Jota with Salah behind him.
Yeah, definitely. Just. I tell you, we were saying in the chat when we talked about how long he was on the field was minimal, and then he goes to get the hat trick. The amount of time it took him from goal 1 to goal 3 was a record as well. It was just, I think he was on the field for 15 minutes.
Record, Gags.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
And he scored 6-minute hat trick in 15 minutes. I was just like, that's something else.
Yeah,
and they're all very different. The first one is normal Mo when he comes into the box and
classic
kind
Mo.
of gets it through, kind of all those legs in the keeper.
We've seen a lot from that right of the 6-yard box.
Yeah. And then he does the one that he cuts back in and cuts. Well, I think he shoots across the keeper. Is that the third one or the second?
No, the second one was where he's got 4 players around him,
just
and he's running in, and then he rolls his foot over the ball and stops for half a second. Everybody else, it's like he's like him operating in bullet time, like the Matrix.
Yeah, that's it. I love that one.
The keeper moves a little bit, and he just goes, "I'll put it in there."
Yeah, it's a lofted finish. Yeah, because he sees the keeper on, he puts in the top half of the net.
Yeah.
All 3 were very Mo goals, and when even the third one then is that channel, his favorite channel, inside the box on the right side, cut in and put it into the corner. Bends the corner. Try to do.
It was like he was running through his father decks of goals. You know what I mean? It was like, right, I'll pull out this one now, or this one. It was great to see him finish like that. Really was.
It was.
It's like when you see, when you go and see your favorite brand and they break into all their back catalogue, Gags.
Yeah,
the classic hits.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I think more than anything, he needed it. I think the team needs him doing that, scoring, just being him, because I think the confidence level of everyone goes through the roof knowing we've got Mo. Okay, it's okay. Yeah. Mo's back in form. And I think then Elliott scoring is just a nice touch. And what I loved was
Salah was
waiting. Yeah. You can tell there's a real bond there between the two of them. So
maybe Mo looks at himself as a father figure to him.
He said 100%.
He said
that in his interview.
That's been reported. It's been reported by the press as well that he's, since he signed his new contract, he's been trying to take the youngsters under his wing a little bit and help them. And it's been
a left footer coming in off the right. I mean, what could go wrong, eh?
Absolutely. And he was really happy for him, and I love that. That's one of the things you got to love. And then obviously it's his first Champions League goal as well as a youngster, so it's a bonus. Winning 7-1. I mean, Rangers. Everybody kept saying it was Rangers, lads. Let's not get over.
It was their record defeat, Gags. Celtic haven't beaten 7-1 at Ibrox.
They had to apologise to.
I know, and then they went at claps of empty stands.
They had to apologise to their fans. Oh my God! But we're used to apologies with FSG, but not for losses. That fucking hell. No. Apologies for losing.
As Man United players tweeting apologies after missing pens and stuff. Yeah.
This apologies for losing, right, has to stop in football. No. It's a fucking joke.
Right, we don't do it, do we? We haven't done it as a club.
No, we better not. After
I'm saying it's just stupid. It's sport, right? You play it to win or lose. If you lose, you just take it and chill and move on. Don't apologise for it.
The best way to come back is to win.
Couple of questions about the 4-3-3 in the chat, Gags.
Yep. So Armand says, when you say at old 4-3-3, are you talking about the flat one that we used to use, or the one that we used in 2021-22 and at the start of the season with a more advanced RCM, or both, Phil?
The old one, I'm talking about title winning, Champions League winning, because I would argue that we tried this stupid right-hand side tweak last season as well. We just had more legs in midfield to cover up for some of the errors that were there. So ignore effectively the last 18 months of this stupid tweak and go back to
classic
classic
version 1.
Klopp version 1. No, version 2, because version 1 was basketball.
Oh yeah.
Version 2 is when we became the best team in the world. That's the 4-3-3 for me. Anything past like last season, past the.
So what you're saying is we need more Brexit.
Arguably, Boovac did the RCM, the right one, super advanced with Ox. So
yeah, but he had the legs to get. Do you know what I mean? There was always.
But arguably, version 1 even had it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit with Ginny as the connector,
which is why it was probably basketball. But Ali agrees with all of us when saying we hope that's truly dead. The tweak with.
I don't think it's going to be truly dead. I think it's dead for the foreseeable because I don't think we have the physical capacity to execute it anymore. Like Barts was saying, I think until that comes back, until we're confident that we have the physical capacity, we can do the sprints, we can do the intensity, in that open, with the high line and everything. Then I don't think we're going to see it again. Which basically means a load of new players, Gags, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna go for it and say I don't think you'll see it again with this group of players. I think the sun is set with this group of players doing that system.
All right, guys. Do you want anything else on the Rangers game before we go? We've got about 40 minutes before Bart's has got to go. So let's, if there's anything else.
Let's go City.
Let's go to City. So Barts, we can kick off with you. Lineups, please, and any tweaks you think tactically?
So for us, I mean, we had a chat before game. What was he going to do? Because we heard Kanate had it pulled up, got an injury from the Rangers game. So it was I think Eddie put a tweet out, didn't he? Pick your poison. Milner at right back or Phillips at centre-half. In the end, I think correctly, he went with pace at centre-half in Gomez. That's a known partnership between him and Van Dijk. So they work together. Yes, Gomez has not had in different seasons, should we say, but it started there. Milner at right back, in a more conservative role, actually, if we thought about it, probably made a lot of sense. Jota left side, Elliott on the right. Mo gets his place up front rather than went to 9 with Bobby behind, and then a 2 pivot of Thiago came in for Hendo and Fab Fab came in and started. So it was Hendo sitting out this one from the 3. In terms of City, this was a big debate we had as well. I think on the ball, it was a 3. And I looked this up, Darth, because you did ask me, how often have City played this system? So the system this was categorised as was 3-4-2-1. Okay. They have played that. And if you add in a variation of that, right, of 5-3-1, which is slightly where the fullbacks are pulled in to make a 5, they've played that in 3% of game time. Right. This season. Yeah, their go-to formation or a variation is 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just don't do 3 at the back. So they must have decided to, as Pep often does, let's go with a fancy tweak. It changed from midweek, as we know they played a lower side in midweek, so you can't really talk about it. But I mean, Diaz, Ake, Haaland, Foden and Silva came back in from the midweek side. Johnson was supposed to be off Haaland with Kevin De Bruyne, but as we know, if you watch the game and a lot of the pass max, Johnson and Silva are
Gundogan,
changed. Gundogan, sorry.
Yeah,
Gundogan, sorry.
I don't know what you were saying there.
Silva and Gundogan were rotating quite a lot, but the setup was supposed to be, Gundogan was supposed to be the one off of Haaland. But yeah, so other than that, a very rare formation for City, put it that way. And Silva had a blinding game against.
I think it's fair to say that there's got to be questions about City's depth, hasn't there? Because the Walker injuries really screwed them, hasn't it? Because they're and Stones and Laporte both injured as well.
No, Laporte played midweek. Stones is injured.
So Stones is definitely, and Laporte resting was a choice not to play, right?
Yeah, and remember they sold their backup fullback Zinchenko to Arsenal.
And they played a backup fullback, a young lad, against Copenhagen, and he got sent off.
Sent off, yeah. So if they hadn't sold that guy to Arsenal, Cancelo would have gone to right back, Zinchenko would have played left back, and I would have stayed before. I would have thought, unless Pep really did come up with some funky thing, he thought playing a 3 against our 3. And
Laporte was on the bench.
Laporte was on the bench, yeah. So it's not.
It's nice to see. It's nice to see another team get affected by injuries as well. At the end of the day.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and Arsenal have got 0 depth, Gags, by the way.
Yeah, I can't wait till they get injuries. It'll be hilarious. Literally 6 losses in a row. It'll be back to normal.
The only way
if we can win 6 in a row, we're literally back to normal.
Arsenal need to have absolutely no injuries just to finish in the top 2.
Yeah, I think they've got a good chance just because they start so good.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so it gives you confidence, it lets you build,
Yeah.
but top 4 should be good for them. I don't believe that they'll win the league. People will probably hate me for saying that, but at the end of the day, I just don't think they, like you said, Darth, I don't think they've got the depth.
Yeah,
much.
I mean, it'd be interesting. They might get past 76 points now. They've got so many on the board this early, but I don't know. Will they get past 80? Who knows?
No, but like you said, it takes one bad injury.
Yeah.
If they have a perfect storm season, great. Maybe it happens, but if they advance in the Europa League, or are they in the Europa League? I think they are.
Yeah.
If they advance in that, they're playing, that's it. And they're focusing typically right now. They're focusing.
And that's why they're not playing City. That's why they're not playing City in the upcoming week, because they've got to play the rearranged match against PSV.
Exactly. The thing about Arsenal is that isn't there a thing about no one's not won the league from their position, the Premier League. There was that's what they said.
The last 4 to win.
Sorry, the last 4 in their position have won the league.
In the league.
Yeah. So that is a very, very good start. I do think
it is.
They're a party. Their pivot in front, I think, is absolutely crucial. If they lose Partey or Xhaka for any sustained period, Zinchenko has to go in there. They have to shuffle around the defence. I think that's a crucial thing.
Well, let's play Lokonga, don't we? But anyway.
They do. And the centre half.
I can't believe you said Granit Xhaka was crucial, by the way.
He's been better, hasn't he? He has been better.
He's improved this season. I'm not saying he's brilliant, but I'm just saying their double pivot is critical to the way they play.
Yeah.
They played us and Spurs, and they've beaten both teams. I mean, we were
and they were unlucky at United. They were really unlucky at United not to
be honest, we should have done much better first half against them.
Yeah. Hey. But anyway,
second half though, abomination. Let's move on, Rhodesy. Let's go to the match summary, because I remember the first half was such a drab game. Like in terms of creativity and chances, it was.
Yeah, I think it was 0.32 to 0.55 XG in there.
Was it? I thought it was 0.19 to 0.32, or maybe I was looking at
half time. I mean,
Foot Mob. Yeah. I was checking. I'm sure I put that in Foot Mob from Foot Mob in Discord.
Different models, so
different models. Yeah,
that was in football at half time.
Right.
Yeah, most of ours came when the subs came on. But yeah, overall, again, it's another one where shot volume's not really key. In fact, I kind of like the fact that they had 16 shots with an average XG of 0.06. To do that to Man City this season has been virtually impossible for most teams.
Very, very, very impressive, actually.
They had 10 shots in the box, but nothing over a high value apart from Haaland's one header, which went down with a big chance in the first half. We had 5 big chances again.
That's not a big chance.
No, and I thought Jota's wasn't either.
That's not a big chance either.
They're both stuck.
I think the reason they go down as big chances is because they are unchallenged.
Yeah.
A free head.
Yeah, but Darth, the angles are so poor.
I know, but I'm just saying it's their old definition. If it's a free header close to goal, then they just say it's a big chance.
The Haaland one especially is very wide.
The angles
that's wide. Jota
one I can because literally the keeper's coming out right in front of him, so it's a 1-on-1 in a way.
Yeah.
But the Haaland one, Ali's on his line, and it's got to be an unbelievably powerful header to beat him there, especially from that cross. So. I'm doubtful of those two. But anyway, Rhodesy, continue.
Yeah, well, for once this season, it looks like all the models are kind of in agreement. They've got the smallest range between the 6 models. So Cayley, Understat, StatsBomb all had us at exactly 2. Opta just slightly ahead at 2.07. Infogol had the highest at 2.44. And again, in defence for Man City, there's range from 0.91 to 1.14, which is very little as well. So they were all kind of in agreement on this one, which kind of adds some validity to the big chances, because that's not appearing in either. And kind of adds something to what Dan says, because we know that some of the extreme models now do know if there's how many people there is in front of the players, and it is unchallenged. So that's going to bring some consistency to it. So yeah, it was a 0.16 across 13 shots was our shot quality in this game, which is absolutely bang on what you want. Close to a 1 in 5 chance with every single chance we had. It did increase, obviously, again when Nunes came on, an absolute chaos machine. But I'm sure we'll come on to it.
Chaos machine.
So yeah, happy with it. Happy with that match summary. If we could keep doing that, keep restricting our opponents to 6% chances and keep creating a volume of 13 of 16% chances. I'll take that.
What were the touches in the box, Rhodesy?
25 to us, 36 to Man City. So it's another one where we've had fewer after the Arsenal one. Also, the non-shot XG, we only had 0.9 and Man City had 2.3. That's one of the biggest non-shot XG differences negatively we've had. Across all 538's data. So yeah, they did have a lot of the ball in between the edge of our box and the halfway line. And as we'll see when we come on to the pressing, we dealt with it well.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
Yeah, we did that first half. Let's talk that first half then in a bit more depth. There was not that much to talk about apart from the press, really. I think the chances, like we just talked about with all of you, really, they were few and far between, even though the Haaland one's been counted as a big chance. I don't think it was. There were some positions maybe that we gave up that were poor. I think Jota gave the ball away a couple of times, but luckily he was on his game in terms of pressing and got back. And Gary Neville was praising him. Oh, saw Jota back in the box getting the ball off of Haaland. I was like, he literally gave it away, so he was fucking running back to get it back. That's why he made a really poor pass across the middle of the pitch. I remember watching that, and he did it again in the second half as well. So Bobby and Jota, whilst they were, I thought, poor on the ball, their pressing in that first half was immense. I thought that was where the effort was coming, and obviously Harvey as well, I think. So Rhodesy, talk to us.
Well, the pressing?
Yeah, or Darth, sorry, who've got the numbers.
So, I mean, just Rhodesy, before we go into some of the numbers, I mean, what did you think about the overall pressing? Well, the system. How did you see it across the whole match in terms of what we were trying to do? Did you see it like what I described against Rangers?
Similar to the Rangers, this was a lot more restrained and compact. The efficiency again, I think, was higher in the first half. I think there was at some point I remember thinking, well, there's only been 4 fails in the first 100 press games, so that is absolutely immense levels.
What about compared to the City home game last season, Rhodesy?
Yeah, it's just very different performance from James Milner against Phil Foden. As we'll come on to a high of 100% efficiency, was it, Dan?
100% efficiency for James Milner, 23 presses, 21 targets on Phil Foden, young whippersnapper Phil Foden.
That's incredible.
This is the miracle of Anfield, what to call it, James Milner.
But don't you think there was something about the way they played down the left that they didn't do last time they played against Milner? And I thought having Trent in the squad is what fucked up Pep, because as soon as Trent's in the squad, he's thinking Trent's playing. It must not be a major injury. And then he goes, oh shit, it's Milner. And he's maybe tweaked the way he's playing because Trent's in the team. Because they weren't doing, Barts, I don't know if you remember, that they used to do triangles down that left side where Foden used to just get in and Milner just doesn't have the pace to cope. And none of that happened. They didn't even try it. I think second half it was happening more. But first half, it didn't happen at all.
Yeah, you're right. First half, I'm just looking at the pass maps now from the Foden is nowhere near the half space. So the attacking half space, which is where you want Foden to operate because he's in between the fullback and the centre half. So Milner's got to make a decision. Your 2 supporting players, I know, again, are deeper almost next to Rodri rather than in the half space. And if you flip that to what you just said, Gags, in the second half, you've got Silva and Gundogan in the half space and Foden pretty much just outside of it. So they've moved that triangle up in the second half to try and dominate that area. And I think that probably matches what we were doing in what happened in the match.
There you go. The whole thing changes. As soon as that triangle appears, we are willing to give the ball away and just sit in, because it's harder for them to break us down if we're in that 4-4-2 shape.
I think the other thing that Pep didn't bank on was Harvey Elliott playing such a fantastic disciplined role on the right hand side.
Yeah.
He, honestly, I'll put his pressing map in the live stream chat.
He's a smart player. He's so smart for his age. Like he's mature beyond his age, man, in terms of positioning and stuff. He's really smart.
But we also simplified his role in this game
massively.
We just said, like, when he was on loan at Blackburn, this is he had a fantastic season at Blackburn. This is not far off the role he played at Blackburn. He was in a very just controlled,
right mid.
Go and do this, and that's what we said to him, and he knows that. It's what we said in the last pod: put round pegs in round holes, and people know the roles. You don't have to learn stuff on the go. We can't afford to learn stuff on the go. We have to get things right now.
So just posted Elliott's press map in the group. The one press in the final third. Look how narrow it is to the touchline, and look how much is 14 targets on Foden, and look how much is in support of James Milner.
So that's the key then, right? It was not just that. And how much was that first half? Do we have a split?
I can have a look while we're chatting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the interesting part is first half's a little bit more open. Man City not really playing in that half space. Second half, much more tighter. Is there more of a press in the second half to protect for Milner? That would be interesting to know. Mm-hmm. Because then that would be really good. You know, that just evidence what we're trying to say
but
here.
Last year, remember that it was City would play on the build up down there, right, and they would switch it, and all of a sudden Foden would be 1v1 versus Milner. Foden, I don't think was 1 versus 1 Milner all match, because it was always 2v1 because of Harvey. Yeah, and I think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I think we also didn't allow the switch. You know what I mean? We snuffed it out at source very, very quickly. Hang on a minute, right? Put him on his other foot. He can't switch it, because you also got to look at Cancelo was playing wing back, not from right back. So playing a switch from that change of angle is more difficult than it is. And then a diag. A diag's an easier switch.
Also, he had 4 high value presses, 3 direct possession wins and 2 that led to a counter.
Elliott, yeah.
So that shows you. It was also contributing when we were winning it back, or our transitions were contributing when he was winning it back.
Yeah. I mean, you collected this, Rhodesy. You mean, what did you think of the way James Milner pressed and handled, Phil Foden?
I thought I think we touched on it now. I think we had, like I say, a more compact structure, because so they didn't have the space to expose us like they have done in past seasons when we've had Trent attacking them. But the fact that Elliott and Milner were virtually on top of Foden all the time. And Milner wasn't coming and jumping in alongside Elliott. They weren't forming like a group press on Foden. I think they did once or twice, but he was sitting in behind and not letting the other runner, so someone might be running off Elliott. Elliott's, in most of his presses, I think, pushed the opposition to the side. So he's feeding them inside, and Milner's still not going. He's following the guy that's going on the outside, which was for Man City. It was Haaland was pulling across, Silva.
It'd be Silva making the break, making the third man run.
So it was Man City's system still is effective in parts, and it was only because of how compact we were in that middle third of the pitch. It's unbelievable how many. I've never seen such a distribution. There might have been one, but I haven't seen it, because that is so few against Man City to have so few presses in the final third of the pitch with the amount of ball they have. We used to be running at their
makes sense though.
Rhodesy, yeah. Just dropped off.
Makes sense though, Rhodesy, doesn't it? You got one player. You got one player less in the final third because you've now got 2. One of them is Bobby dropping in to make a 3 in the middle. Plus, you've got the 2 wide players dropping in to protect your fullbacks. You've got 5 in the middle, pretty much in that central zone. I would expect that central zone or your own half to be the busier pressing area, because you literally want it to happen, and that's what allows you to do the counter press, a counter attack.
Yeah.
Like you saw in the second half, because That's now probably better for us to do against the teams that are going to keep the ball against us, because we've got so much bloody pace. It's a shame that Diaz is out, because if we had Diaz, Nunes and Mo on the pitch at the same time, no one's catching him. No one. And it's such a shame. But Nunes is actually frighteningly fast when he gets going. But we'll get there. But the point is, it totally
I think Sai said
sense.
He's got the highest recorded top speed in the Champions League this season.
But does it make sense now with having it's literally congesting that whole middle part of the field with 4 or 5 players?
Yeah, you shut passing lanes when you make it compact. It just shuts it down.
And I think we're going to have to do that, Barts. We have to do that now.
We have to do that. I thought Bobby still at times dropped on Rodri a little bit. I don't know whether the target is there for that, but he's still...
I think he is. Big target on Rodri.
Big target. And also, Bobby and Mo, I know we can't do that every game, but they're rotations in attack. So at times, Mo would drop in as a 10 and Bobby would go in behind. Or Bobby would then pull out wide and Jota would go in. It worked. You know what I mean? You got smart footballers on the pitch at the same time, knowing what they've got to do. And that could be really special on this counter once we get this more fruition. But you're right, off the ball, we were compact. We stopped passing lanes, and City had to work really hard for their chances and got low XG chances.
14 targets on Roger by Firmino.
There you go. Yeah.
12 successful.
12.
Yeah.
So Rodri's known for being press resistant, right?
Yes.
It's usually pushing him back. Only one.
Yeah, but it's still works, isn't it? Yeah.
No, normally against City though, our pressing does not have an 89% efficiency. I'm sorry, it just does
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It does not.
It's worth noting 272 presses is a big number.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, we've had 368 against City before twice, but this will probably be in the top 15 volume per match that we've ever collected, 272. But very, very, the nature of it was very different.
Did you look at that first half breakdown, Darth?
Just put it in the chat. Yeah, they're definitely more on them, and obviously because Elliott went off on 72 minutes, but. Yeah,
more in the second half.
Yeah, look at Milner and Elliott in that first half. That's really clustered and really tight. And it's all, like Rhodesy said, it's all pushback, but the threat was nullified, completely nullified.
Yeah, the key is to keep pushing them back to their midfield or their defenders because they're not really that good at distributing, to be honest, the defenders.
Just a big shout out to Sai as well, because one thing he said about the switch to 4-4-2 was to reduce load on every single position in the 11, apart from the wide midfield positions. So he said, if you're struggling with your centre mids, you're struggling with your forwards, you're struggling with your centre backs, they all benefit from a 4-4-2 in terms of the amount of distance they cover and the amount of sprints that they have to do. The only positions that are exerted are the wide midfield position. And Harvey Elliott was on for 11.5 kilometres distance when he was substituted, which is fantastic. And Jota, before he did his hammy, was 11.9k, which is just a monster shift.
But then that shows you exactly Sai's point. He pushed it right to the limit because he had to.
Yeah. He should have been subbed, man. Like, we know Jota.
I mean, as we said,
what are the numbers, Sai? What are the numbers that Sai put in earlier? 50% above his. He's 50% above his 3-year.
Yeah, it was on
average.
His 3-year average.
That's insane. I mean, that's borderline mismanagement. But I mean, Sai did argue my point on that and say his fatigue index thing isn't too high. But this is a player only a few weeks ago complained to his national team coach to take him off because he was knackered.
Yeah, 50%
so if he's
on
feeding
3-year
it,
average.
Yeah, if he's feeding it, there's something went wrong there. I think maybe Klopp was just too scared. I think you made the point in the chat as well, Barts, about both wingers coming off. Exactly. So I didn't want to use that stability, but
you don't want to do that, especially with one of them coming on his baby fab. You would have, and then I don't know who else.
He was great though. I thought when he came.
Oh yeah, but it was. I was worried. I thought it was a risk when he came on. But just on Jota, it was 45 presses as well, Gags. It was a monstrous shift.
It was monster. It was monster.
Yeah. And it's just a real crying shame now because he's just coming back as well. Is it the one question that I didn't answer? Put in the group, was it the same? Is it the same hamstring he did earlier in the season?
It's calf. Gag said it's calf injury.
Oh, it's calf, is it?
That's what people are saying. Yeah, it's calf.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because the way he went down, holding the bottom lower part of his leg, and then he just didn't want to stand up on it at all.
So they're all. Yeah. See, hamstrings are breaking. We know that from Sai. A calf is your push off. Yeah, you go on that. So yeah, you just got to hope he comes back all right. We've got really good the ankle rehabilitation protocol that we've got, that we known from Phil Coutinho days, is brilliant. We've got Trent back within 2 weeks when he was supposed to be out nearing the World Cup. So let's just hope we've got our calf and our muscle protocols, because he's gone on for an ox layoff at the moment.
What?
Yeah, you remember how
3
long?
months?
Yeah, Ox was out from pre-season for 3 months, right? That's your time span you're talking. If he's going to miss the World Cup, that is 3 months.
Oh my goodness! So
I think didn't he tweet today that he's going to miss the World Cup for Portugal?
Yeah, that's what I put in. You're talking an 8 to 12 weeker. You know what I mean? That kind of.
You know what though? This World Cup might just be a blessing for our season, just because players will be coming back just at the end of it.
Yeah.
If we can just get to within decent points touching going into the break, I think you're right.
So important to win the next few games, man.
But then Si said this pre-season, didn't he? He said it from a point of view of winning the league, that he felt post-World Cup we'd be in a stronger position because we've got less players going to the World Cup.
Well, we definitely are now.
We definitely have now, yeah. So it's just unfortunate that we're not in a spitting distance of the title, you know?
Yeah.
So I just put in Jota's press map while we're finished talking about Jota, Gags. So it was a really, you could see people were saying, was it a 4-2-3-1? Is it a 4-4-2 and stuff like that? But you can see both on Jota's press map alone. You can see where he was in the 4-2-3-1 left wing position, and where he was in the 4-4-2 left mid position, because he covered nicely for Robbo, but he was really aggressive as well in his pressing just over the in the left half space, and got a couple of high value presses. Got one leading to a shot. I think it was one of the Nunes chances. So it was just a brilliant performance.
Yeah, I mean, there was, the big worry was first half. I don't know if Rhodesy noticed this, but we picked them off really well at times. Bobby did, at least, and then we made nothing of the counters.
Yeah,
no, we didn't.
Yeah, we did nothing with them. It was like, what the hell are you doing?
13 Gags, 13 counters.
Yeah,
and
we had
two shots,
two shots, and they were both Nunes ones near the end.
That shows you how well the counter press was working in that shape against a team that wants to keep the ball. Rhodesy.
Yeah, absolutely that. Because that's the frustrating thing about it as well. The amount of opportunities we're getting just from breaking on them, because they're so good in possession that they back themselves to also leave us open if we manage to get quick ball away. Yeah. And it's obviously harder for us to get quick ball away when we're sitting a little deeper. So that we aren't going to have the players through, but we did have those chances. Like Jota was a couple, Bobby definitely, Salah definitely, and I don't know if we touched on it yet, but I thought there was a lot of interchanging with Salah and Jota, and at times Elliott.
Elliott had a great chance in 26.
Yeah, it was exactly what you want to do against Man City.
Yeah,
soak up some of that possession if you've organised enough to do it, and you can get the rewards from it. But you also have to be concentrated at all times, which is something we have not been.
Right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Mr. Haaland. Darth, let's talk about Haaland. So the biggest worry coming into this game was, and you know what?
He was going to score 10 Gags, apparently.
There's a Man City fan at work, right, who was texting me, and this is why I'm wearing this today, because he was in a meeting with me for 4 hours today, and he literally texted me today and said, yo, you wouldn't have wore that if you hadn't got that result, right? And I was like, no, I wouldn't have. But anyway, my point was, he was literally saying, I think Haaland's going to get 6 against your defence. It's shit. And I was like, well, Mo's back on form. He scored a hat-trick. Yeah, but it was Rangers. I was like, yeah, I agree. It was Rangers, but he's still got to put the chances in the net, and Mo's back. And he was just like, Haaland's going to absolutely tear your defence apart. We didn't even talk, and this is probably the time where we do talk about the defence, Darth.
Yeah.
With Haaland.
Yeah. So I think it's fair to say that Joe Gomez had his best game for us in about, I would say, over 2 years. And Virgil had his best game of the season by a country mile. And
so for a year.
Virgil's best game. Well, some of the games he had in the spring were pretty bust. Yeah. But
Robert wasn't bad either. To be honest,
we have to make Sai's contribution, right? Which is that Virgil's ego has been bruised. He's the alpha because of all the talk about him being in decline and diminished and all that. And then he has to then prove himself in the biggest test of all, and he wins it pretty much hands down.
Yeah, critical goal line clearance just after our goal from almost certain goal from Haaland. But I think the two of them look like, we're title winning season. The two of them together were immense. Joe and VVD. It reminded me of that so much. I thought Gomez did really well with Haaland, and they got this choice right. We had to have pace in there to deal with Haaland, and because I just think Darth, your son would have got Milner. I think Gomez, although aerially wasn't great.
He's never great.
He's never great. No, he was at his average level today. But the other attributes of his game meant that we dealt with the game. I mean, Haaland first half was in zone 14 on the pass map. Second half, we pushed him back out.
Yeah.
So you remember Haaland was dropping in more for second half. That's us forcing him out of the danger area.
Did you notice also that for the first time this season, VVD was literally shouting and attacking balls, because literally he's left it to the left-sided or the right-sided defender to deal with whatever is on his plate. But this time he was like, nah, I'm coming. I'm taking this out. This is mine. And he'd come from behind and then jump and then clear it and literally towering above the whole, whoever's in that spot. And I just thought, that's what we've been missing, mate. Yeah. That's what we've been missing. And it just felt like he was like, this, like you said, Darth, I'm putting a marker down now. And literally I'm putting you all on notice that I'm back.
Well, this is it. We've got to hope now that he is back, and maybe this has pricked his ego into action now, and this is like back to normal now. Or, I guess what I hope is we don't see is that if he chose this and then he chooses to go back to doing other things. So I'm going to reserve judgment for a few games. I'm his biggest fan, Gags, but we haven't seen him have a prolonged slump of relatively poor games like he has done this season. So we just need to. I just want to see that this is the start of him getting it back together again.
West Ham's a good test to try to do that again.
Absolutely. You have another big dude. Scamacca's a big dude to get front against him.
Is Antonio fit?
No, it's Scamacca's first choice now anyway.
Okay. But no, I agree with you, Darth. Let's hope it's not a last dance performance and it's a trend now for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Rhodesy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Gomez was absolutely incredible. I'll just check the aerial duel stats. Van Dijk had 1. Lost it.
Yeah, no, I just looked at that as well. Gomez is 30.
There weren't actually duels directly.
He just cleared everything. Yeah.
Gomez had 3 and only won 1. So
did you see Milner's?
3 out of 3. Yeah. Efficiency and everything he did in this game.
I'm sorry, but we have to praise James Milner's performance.
Absolutely, yeah.
We do.
And it's good that James Milner, when he's up against players of equal stature to him, he can win the aerials against them, can't he? So
unbelievable.
Yeah, Foden actually was like, damn, I'm going to lose all the headers. Well, Foden's probably the best player to play.
Milner's about 5'8", isn't he? 5'9", and Foden's the same. Yeah.
Also, Milner attacking wise, I know defensively he's spot on, but a couple of the balls Milner put in the first half.
Yeah,
brilliant.
The one that led to the Robbo shot.
Yeah, the Robbo shot, which I know we talk about all the time. So literally berates Robbo's inability to hit the target, but it's like literally hit the target and that is a goal. And he
tweeted about it, didn't he? Like, did anybody actually expect anything else?
I didn't.
From that
I was just hoping.
I was like, please do something different.
One of these days, Sai is going to say something nice about Andy Robertson. And then we can all say, Sai actually said a nice thing about Andy Robbo.
Robbo had a great game, by the way.
I know he did, yeah.
I thought Robbo had a good game.
Yeah, we needed that grit back. The guy who's going to just fight for everything at the back and piss them off if he has to.
He wasn't playing people on side either.
No.
Well, we didn't give him a chance, like you said, Barts. We didn't give him a chance. Did we, Rhodesy? You're coming in there?
Well, Foden was targeted 42 times down that side. With a 95% efficiency from our team against him.
Yeah.
So that's a team thing that is, you've got over 38 times.
Well, 37 of the 42 were from Elliott and Milner.
Jesus.
Yeah. There you go.
Foden had a shit game, eh?
Absolutely in the pocket. Stats that is.
Did you see that? Did you see that James Milner, boring James Milner tweet?
No.
I spoke to VVD and asked him what's in his pocket, and he said, "Oh, look, there's VVD." And then I said, "Oh, look, Foden's in mine. Isn't that nice?" Or something like that. So fucking stupid, but yeah. Oh, we had to get it in. But yeah. So keeping Haaland quiet was vital, Darth, and I think 6
shots he still had though. And still,
yeah, that's quiet.
I think Rhodesy, it's what you said, keeping the value of those shots down.
Yeah,
if you have 6
right.
and they're low
Yeah.
value, it's like our Champions League final, right? We can have as many shots as you want, but if they're low, if they're low quality, then
His total XG was 0.55 on understat from 6 shots. So that tells
Ouch.
you all you need to know. Yeah, that's just low quality.
Can I just say on Haaland, right? What we've seen this season so far, right, is not what's going to be the normal level of performance. He is massively overperforming, and he is on a massive hot streak, right? Just because he started like this, right, does not mean he's going to continue, right? In his 3 previous seasons at Dortmund, right, for over the season, he outperformed his XG by 4. That's his non-penalty, right? 4, and he's already at 4 so far after 10 games.
wow.
He's not
What
going
would
to.
you say
He's not
a
going
City
to. He's not going to project that over 38 games and make it 16 games over his XG. Absolutely not a cat and house chance that he's going to do that.
But with it being City and not Dortmund, and him being a one-off beast, is it?
Yeah,
not?
but you can still look at his XG per shot and his locations, and he yes, he is an above average XG finisher, but not to the rate that we've seen so far.
He'll win them league.
Yeah,
And he might win them the Champions League.
but what I'm saying is, he's not going to.
No, I'm not saying he's going to. I completely agree with your point about scoring. I'm just saying he was bought to do one thing: score the goals that didn't score last season, and he's doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, our chances in the second half then, Rhodesy. Let's talk about some of these because
I've got the XG for each of the big chances, and
go on.
Like you said, this is probably the worst where there's the most difference. But Opta had weirdly gave it a big chance, but then the XG model had it as a 0.11.
What's that?
The Jota header on 20 minutes,
Right.
the big chance, and then info goal with had it at 27%, and Understat had it at 20%, which I think is about right. 1 in 5, if it's like a 1-on-1. So yeah, a little bit of difference there. Lovely ball by Elliott. We did get down. Initial ball by Milner, who's headed out, and then Elliott floats one in, and Jota does his hang time, but just doesn't get it either side of the keeper.
Oh yes, I remember that one now. That one may have been. Okay, and then second half, we'll probably after we
Haaland's big chance, isn't there? Which is the De Bruyne cross.
Yeah, we talked about that already earlier. I think if we go to our one in the second half, the first Mo one,
which is superb. Yeah, that's a fun.
Bobby through ball there is exactly how you want to cut people up. The Bobby through ball for that one is superb.
That was the first shot of the second half as well, Gags. First chance for either team.
Yeah,
and I think it's worth to say, right? I thought there was a noticeable shift. Right, a bit like Arsenal. First half was pretty close. It was 50. I think it was 54-46 possession to City, and the shots were very similar. But second half, I don't know whether. Did you think it was conscious of Barts or unconscious that we?
Yeah, I think it was conscious. I think if you look at the waves chart I do, which I put a GIF in the group earlier, in first half, our sort of passes and touches were higher during the 15 waves. So I look at waves as in a collection of 5-minute periods to see how many touches and peer passes we have, and then when we create a shot. First half, we're looking at 10-15 being the average between, and then we get a shot away. Second half, you're in at around 2. Yeah. Two passes, 3 touches, shot.
Yeah, straight shot.
So it was a lot more direct second half, because I think, Darth, you're right. We made that decision to go, right, we're all right here.
We're dropping down,
We'll drop in, we'll be really compact, and we'll just use Mo on the break.
Do you think also we have reacted to City's 3 at the back, which we, maybe we'd seen them, like we're building a bit with a 3, and I thought this is, maybe there's things that we can exploit here as well. Because
one less player, right? One less player in the middle of the pitch because they're back 3 instead. Yeah. You're playing 2 at the back. You've got that person in midfield instead, right? With the wingers, with your wing backs. But instead now, you've got 3 of them there, spread out in the back line, one less player in middle.
How quick was this chance, Gags, as well? From Van Dijk to Elliott, who then finds Firmino.
Yeah. So fast.
It's fast. So fast. We went very direct. I mean, second half, looking at their pass map for City, EPV, they are a lot higher up. They're a bit more condensed, though. Whereas there was depth on their first half pass map. Listeners, I'll put it in the chat later on in the UP group as a PDF. But In the second half, we've pushed Haaland out of zone 14. The furthest player forward is Foden, and then everybody else is in your middle two zones of the pitch. So we've whether that's us or them trying to come up and we've forced them back, we've compressed their play.
Yeah.
And then we've hit them on the counter in the space behind because they've come up high, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it massively benefited us. You know, we what was it? Most chance Ederson saves. Then there was a scramble later on.
What a save, by the way.
Great save, yeah. And one of them unrecorded. Then there's the chip ball from Mo. Jota misses another header.
No. Straight away we go the other side and they score.
Right, sorry. Yeah, they score. Yeah.
Literally straight away. It's within the next minute and a half or so.
And it gets disallowed. Yeah,
it gets disallowed. And, what are the thoughts? Definitely a disallowed goal. I thought on Fab first, then Alisson later too.
Yeah, 2 fouls. There's not much debate on this one, is there?
It's not much. I mean, even the PGMR have said that it was 2 fouls. So
yeah, I think that's the thing that they've actually moved to clarify, to quash the controversy by saying, look, Alisson got his hand on the ball and it was kicked out of his hand, so therefore it was clear. So yeah. It would save a lot of anguish if they'd done this, at 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. instead of waiting until.
Yeah, straight after the
Sunday.
game.
Yeah,
it would have been miles better. But yeah, that was disallowed, wasn't it? And then is it 61 group?
That's the Jota.
That's the Jota
one there.
Where it scrambles around, and then Mo, rather than trying to chip himself, plays a lovely ball to Jota, which is probably the biggest chance of the game. One of the biggest chances on XG.
No, that wasn't.
That was Trent.
It was offside.
Oh, was it offside? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. It's one of those. The header, Jota back by blunt back. Which
that was offside, wasn't it, Rosie?
It was offside.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was a couple of occasions second half where we broke. You see, I was always saying about the change to City at the back three. That behind, who was the left one? Was it Ake? And
Ake was, but
yeah, and then because Elliott got in a few times, and it was just his touch let him down, didn't it, Gags?
Yeah.
He didn't quite. He couldn't get out of his feet a few times. I think he could on another day. Elliott could have had 3 shots from kind of like the D or just inside the box.
Yeah, first half and second half.
Yeah,
because he can't shoot on his right.
No,
he has to shift it.
He controls it on his right, and then he's got to shift it again into a better position.
Although there was one where I think he was only about 12 metres out on his right, and I think he could have had a lash with that one.
Yeah,
he did have a lash with his right in the second half, and it was blocked.
Oh, okay.
But in the first half chance, it was like, just hit it with your right, lad. Don't worry about coming inside.
He just needs to start practicing with his right, man.
Yeah.
If he's going to be playing on that side and he's going to be coming across, he either needs to get used to playing it with his left, coming across his body, coming into him, or he's going to have to start hitting it, swinging it with the swing.
Yeah, or just carry it. Just carry it and put it back. But he's just getting himself sorted at the moment. But yeah, and then we get a goal. That's pretty much straight after that, isn't it?
No, there was the Haaland one where the Alisson big chance. Alisson, well, not a big chance, but
the
big save.
Yeah,
big save. That was a good
left-footed towards the edge of the box.
Yeah, and Alisson just gets down and parries it. Not to safety completely, but enough anyway. And we get lucky. We get to the rebound first. Yeah,
definitely. It was a good save from Ali. That I thought it went. Didn't push it back into play as he pushed it out wide, which is probably the best thing you can do as a keeper. So
yeah, if you can't turn it behind, push it wide of the post. Yeah,
Ali was superb. And then obviously the pressure's on from them, and we give away a free kick. We're trying to press real hard, and then their free kick goes straight to Ali, and it's his 3rd assist of his career at Anfield, at Liverpool, which is actually at Anfield as well, which is unbelievable.
Yeah,
absolutely unbelievable. And I think Rhodesy here, Mo's turn and touch, not handball, by the way. I've seen a lot of City fans trying to claim this as handball.
Interesting what Pep said, calling out KDB for not tracking, because if you watch this from the wide angle, it's really interesting, because when KDB takes a free kick, Salah's kind of stood close to him and even behind, but Salah notices that Alisson's just going to come and catch it immediately and goes. And Kevin De Bruyne just stood there watching the game. It stood still after taking the free kick, not moving, and then realises, just as Alisson's about to kick it, that Salah's got about 10 yards on him, and KDB kind of gets the closest to him when he does score. But that turn on Cancelo is unbelievable.
Can I just on that, Rhodesy? Do you know Opta gave Cancelo an error for that?
No.
It is an error.
Yeah,
it is an error. He's pressed too close to him. He's gone too tight and he's got done.
Usually give an error for, is it?
Not in that, but that situation you do, because it's literally led to a 1-on-1.
Yeah.
It has led to a big chance.
What's the XG in that one?
Oh, it's going to be
0.552 on him for a goal.
0.52. Yeah, he deserves an error for that.
And so 0.17 on Understat, which is
0.3 on Opta, because it was outside the box. I think that's right. From there, 0.3 is right based on the stuff I've done on one-on-one.
But to be honest, it's but 1-on-1, literally right next to him, it's going to be that's a massive chance.
Yeah.
And
that's what I mean. I think 30% is right for that.
Yeah, I think that's distance on between the. Yeah, I think that's fine.
But yeah,
since he had the start the sighter before, that's what. Oh, we missed the other one when he cuts inside Barts and puts it wide. That was before the goal.
That'd have been a hell of a goal.
And he should have because that the two touches in that move from first Bobby to control and pass, and then Mo's on the run touch and cut. Oh my God! Like that was vintage Mo.
That was vintage again. Look at the length of chain there for a passing. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in their box, and Mo's got a shot off. It was a definite change in tactics second half, and we got the best out of Mo, I think.
Yeah,
he nearly created one for Jota. I know it was offside, but it's a chance, isn't it? He's got 2 shots off, 3 shots off on. Yeah, it was good. And Trent, the last one, one of the ones at the end, if you want to go there, Trent had a 0.51, wasn't it, his chance at the end?
And just on Salah though, I thought that second one, did he just slip at the moment, or was he stretching? Because I couldn't believe he missed it. I thought it was stretching. I thought that is the definite. That was like the Henri position. It's like that's his Henri position, isn't it?
Yeah, especially that.
And that's his shot. He needs to smack them top corner. Yeah. Not needs to be like that low. He needs to just put him in top corner. Keeper's not getting him. Yeah. No chance if he loop that over the top and a curler that high. It literally goes around the keeper. There's no way. So he needs to start doing that more. That's my only probably gripe. But there's bits from Nunes in between here, by the way, that we've missed because he's after Mo scores, Nunes is literally running at them and puts one wide. But it's like they are shitting themselves at this point because Nunes charging at you. They're all Rhodesy. They were all backing off.
Oh, it does it at least 3, maybe 4 times in this game. Just drives past a couple of their players with that pace and that strength that he's got. His decision making with the ball a couple of times.
That one he should have squared.
3-on-1 break.
Yeah, terrible.
Right, yeah,
terrible. But still.
Doing nothing, and then there's another one where he does amazing on the left-hand side, gets into the box. He's got Carvalho waiting, but he does create a big chance from it. He cuts it across for Trent, who's just a bit late. So
he should have played Carvalho there as well, though.
I don't know. I mean, because I thought that that was the percentage ball, but what he actually tried was the brilliant one. I thought that was the to create a better chance.
Fabio's a finisher, man. Like you give him the ball in the 6, you give him the ball in the 18-yard box. He is going to score. He likes hitting the top corners, man. He does.
Okay. But I really liked his decision on that one. To be fair.
But I think we always say in hindsight, should have done something like Mo's one that he put wide. Jota was free in the middle as well. So there was loads of literally this game.
He put it wide.
He put it wide, yeah. But what was it? No, not that one.
And the other one. There's another one.
The next one, the one where he...
True. Yeah, that's
yeah. Jota was central. So if he wanted to, he could have just played Jota in to tap it in. That would have been a tapping. But the point is, we could have run riots.
We could have had 3. I think if this had finished 3-0, I don't think we'd have been moaning that. Because do you know what I mean? The chances Darwin literally has 3-on-1, a 2-on-1 with a better pass. We score. It's just, that's it. It's game over.
Yeah, the Trent one, I just loved how he just skipped past Akanji like it wasn't even there as well.
And he just fizzed it too much. It's like, I know you've got to put it there, but it doesn't have to be that quick. But yeah, anyway.
But what it does is it shows that against the top team, the fear's there. You don't want to leave this guy running at you or in behind you. That's great to see for the rest of the Premier League, for us as well, because that fear factor is massive, man. And we always talk about it. The Haaland fear factor coming in for all of us on this pod and side, it was like, shit, what's going to happen?
But it was on the counter.
Yeah.
So if we have to accept that we might... He came off the bench. We were playing counter-attacking football, and we've probably seen some of his best moments for us, right? That's a very different beast to starting him. And that's trying to do. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, I understand the point. It's just, that's a different tactic for us.
So, But we did say what you can do from the start against Arsenal as well. But then we always said that with the importance of Diaz, and it was him and Diaz together. That was the important thing. But yeah, I just wanted to add on the late phase after we scored. We actually had 2 presses leading to shots in that period, and both originated in our defensive third. So the one which went for the 3-on-1 break was Thiago actually pressed Gundogan in a sort of deep central area, and that started the press there. And then the other one was the Trent chance that started off with Jota press on Cancelo, and that was on the kind of left wing-ish area as well, deep. So we can still press her in deeper zones, but when the game state plus the pace on the transition, it's a good sign, I think, Gags.
It is a good sign. I think the only worrying sign.
There's a big chance as well where he tried to chip the keeper.
Say again.
He had another big chance as well in the 96th minute where he tried.
The chip was awful, though. It literally just needed him in the face.
He just
dinked it right up, like leaning over himself.
Clean through. That's his big chance in this game.
Yeah. He's a shot monster, man. He's a shot monster, that guy.
I think he's at 6.8 according to Understat this season.
Imagine when he settles, dude. This is going to be crazy. And I think what Darth said earlier in terms of Mo playing behind him could become just unbelievable. Could be Gerard Torres type.
We're going to see it. We're going to see it in one of these games. We've got 5 games. We've got 5 games in 11 days. Yeah. We're going to see it in one of these games.
I think you might see it this week, midweek.
Yeah, we're going to have to save Bobby's legs. Can't risk an injury there.
You need Bobby for. Well, no, who we got the weekend? Is it Forest?
Yeah,
Bobby will play against
still.
Ajax for sure.
Bobby will play Ajax, so you don't want Bobby playing against Forest.
But Ajax and Forest are nearly 5 days apart, right? So it's okay, 4.5, because it's Saturday to Wednesday, and it's an early kickoff as well. So you finish at 2, and we don't play till 8 on Wednesday. So
that's the only gap we've got. All the other games are on 2-day rests.
So basically, I think you will see a Mo Darwin in one of these next 2 games, whether it's tomorrow night against West Ham, against the 2 Groks at the back and Darwin, or it's against Forest, the easier defence.
Something that Hamza just pointed out, we didn't concede first. We took the lead. What a big game. What a big change that makes. And I think Liverpool, if they could start taking the lead and then just sitting in like this, can counter.
Yeah, we always said this on this pod. We said it about every we must have said it 100 times going back 5 years. Game state is the single most important thing in football analytics. The number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had some rotten luck with it, haven't we, really, to be honest, going behind so much. Yeah. But this is it. Get more compact, become a better side defensively, and all of a sudden, things will start changing for us, and I hope they do. I think the only big problem we've got is injuries. And, the Jota injury is horrible, Rhodesy. We've got Konate, we don't know when he's back. Curtis Jones.
Back in training today.
Who Konate is?
Yep.
Curtis Jones missed training yesterday. I mean, for a left-sided, he could work really well on the left side for us, left midfield, just because of what he did for, the
academy. Yeah.
And it's a perfect role for him to come in and be free as well in terms of going forward when he wants to play his attacking football. So there's so many options here that could work out. We've got Carvalho, but we're just so light on fit men, right now.
I think it's the wide areas, isn't it? It's we've actually got numbers down the middle. We just need to manage Bobby's minutes, right? But
Bobby, Mo, and Nunes,
Nunes down the middle. You've got
3 players for 2 positions.
Yeah, in the middle, and you've got three up front.
Yeah, but who are you playing on the right then? It's going to be Ox.
That's what I'm saying.
Elliott.
Elliott
Elliott every game.
Every game.
Yeah, pretty much. He's young. He's not going to the World Cup.
You've got a baby fat on the other side, right?
He's not going to the World Cup. We got is it 8 games in all comps? 9 games.
Yeah. Well, Derby, no one's going to play. I think. I don't even think they'll care if they go out to Derby in the Carabao. So,
it'd be good to get Ramsey back as well, because that will help out with right back rotations.
We've got 8 games in all comps, right? We got Napoli is potentially a dead rubber if we can get a point at Ajax. Yeah. You won't need a point. Yeah. Derby is the EFL, right? So that means you've got 6 league games, 5 league games plus Ajax.
Yeah,
I think Harvey Elliott can play every minute on the right hand side in those games, or we'll just start every single one.
And I think get subbed,
and then we can rotate. So I'm thinking of the other positions. You got fullbacks can rotate.
Yeah, you've got 3 players for 2 in the midfield, centre mids. You've got 3 players for 2 in the centre positions.
Yeah.
You've got
Apparently
two left
Naby's
backs,
coming back soon to train.
2 left backs. You've got 3 centre backs for 2, and you got Trent and Milner.
Yeah, so I'm saying it'd be good if Ramsey, because there's going to be games where I don't know. For me,
Ramsey will play against Derby. And that's it.
Yeah, and it'd be good to blood him in, because I think we could do with that going forward, because Milner's not going to be able to do everything.
You've got to manage 8 games, and I think even with the injuries, we can manage 8 games.
Yeah, certainly. For me, it's the left wing position. That's the only area that because I agree with you, play Harvey.
We got an option. You can double up with Simicast, I guess. Can play there. We play 2 left backs, and Carvalho, and Jones will be the other one, I reckon.
Once he's back from his sorry, with no more, because he's got a bit of the insight, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, we should ask Si actually.
Yeah.
Anything else on the City game, guys? Rhodesy, anything from yourself?
Oh, man.
Final points. We're going to go, and Bart's going to go as well.
6-pointer, double header, and a 6-pointer. Don't have many of them this season.
Nope. I think it was the Newcastle and Bournemouth.
No.
That was the only time we've done it. So we need to do that against West Ham now as well. And that'll be Newcastle, West Ham. That'll be a fantastic week if we can finish. West Ham and Forest. That would be a fantastic week.
Yeah.
For us, really.
Right.
Like 12 points in multiple competitions.
Yeah.
That would be ideal, and really put us in towards, like Darth said, that final 6 games or 5 games, just to really push. And if that Napoli game isn't is a dead rubber, literally we got a rest for the Spurs game. Is it Spurs after or before? I think.
Yeah, I'd like to think we prioritise Spurs over Napoli.
We've got to. We have to be within touching distance of top 4, or not in there by the break.
Yeah.
Have to.
And against Spurs, we cannot play high line gung ho football.
We're not going
to do that anymore.
We're not going to do that anymore.
That's it. That's it for the season, though. Yeah.
And that actually might help us beat Spurs.
Yeah, it will. 100%. They'll be caught because they're idiots and they don't know how to play any other way. Right. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Barts. Thank you, Darth. Rhodesy, anything else from you?
No, mate.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time, guys. And to all the subscribers, thank you very much for continuing to support us. We've got a big month ahead, and then we've got the World Cup. I think we're trying to plan some content for the World Cup, but we will let you know when those plans are firmed up. I don't think I'm watching it, so don't expect me on any pods. But yes, we'll be announcing those shortly, I'm sure, with Eddie. But thank you, guys. Appreciate the hard work. And I hope we have early pods like this so I can come on more. Right?
Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys. Catch you later.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.